Let me tell you something real. Every mature man, I'm not talking about a boy, I'm talking about a grown man who's been through life, who's paid some bills, who's taken some losses. Every mature man wants one thing touched first, and it's not his body, it's his respect. That's right. Before you touch his hand, before you touch his chest, before you touch anything physical, touch his value, acknowledge his effort. See him. Respect before physical touch is something many women overlook, yet it sits at the very center of a mature man's heart. When a man has grown through life, taken responsibility, faced failures, rebuilt himself, and learned from experience, his priorities shift. He is no longer driven only by surface-level attraction or temporary excitement. What he craves first, before intimacy, before anything physical, is respect, not loud praise, not flattery, but genuine acknowledgement of who he is and what he carries. Emotional validation becomes more powerful to him than physical beauty because it speaks to his identity, not just his desire. A mature man walks through life with invisible weight on his shoulders. He thinks about provision, stability, leadership, expectations, and the silent pressure to succeed, even if he doesn't talk about it daily. It's there in his mind. When a woman recognizes that effort, when she says she appreciates his consistency, his work ethic, his integrity, she touches something deeper than his body. She touches his sense of worth. And when a man feels respected for his mind, his decisions, and his responsibility, he begins to soften emotionally. He becomes more open, more affectionate, and more willing to invest long-term. Physical attraction may spark interest, but respect sustains connection. A mature man can admire beauty all day long, but he will not fully commit to a woman who belittles him, dismisses his opinions, or constantly questions his capability. Disrespect shuts him down emotionally. It makes him guarded. It makes him distant. On the other hand, when a woman listens to him attentively, values his perspective, and supports his leadership without trying to compete with him, she builds a foundation of trust. He feels safe. He feels understood. And that safety is what allows intimacy to grow naturally. Emotional validation does not mean agreeing with everything he says or losing your own voice. It means recognizing his intention and effort even when there are disagreements. It means correcting him with kindness instead of criticism. It means speaking to him in a way that preserves his dignity. A mature man pays attention to how a woman speaks to him, especially during conflict. If she attacks his character, he feels disrespected. But if she addresses issues while still honoring him as a man, he feels valued. That difference changes everything. When respect comes first, physical affection becomes more meaningful. A hug feels warmer. A touch feels deeper. Intimacy feels connected rather than transactional. That's because emotional respect creates emotional closeness. Without it, physical closeness can feel empty. A mature man does not want to feel like he is only desired for what he provides or how he looks. He wants to feel admired for his character, his discipline, his growth, and his principles. When a woman sees those qualities and expresses appreciation for them, she strengthens his attachment to her. Respect also fuels his desire to lead and protect. When he feels trusted and valued, he naturally wants to step up. He wants to solve problems. He wants to create security. He wants to make her proud. But when he feels constantly challenged or undermined, he withdraws that energy. He may still stay physically present, but emotionally, he begins to detach. A mature man thrives where he feels respected. That environment brings out his best qualities. Many women believe attraction starts with appearance, chemistry, and flirtation. While those elements play a role, they are not what keep a mature man committed. What keeps him invested is how he feels in your presence. Does he feel appreciated? Does he feel heard? Does he feel like his efforts matter? When the answer is yes, his loyalty deepens. When he feels emotionally validated, he becomes more expressive and more affectionate because he knows his heart is safe. Appreciation is one of the most overlooked yet powerful ways to connect with a mature man. It is not about lavish gifts or constant compliments. It is about genuinely recognizing the weight he carries every day. A grown man navigates life with responsibilities that often go unseen, from providing stability for his family, managing work pressures, handling personal challenges, to maintaining the image of strength and reliability in front of the world. He rarely complains, rarely asks for help, and often hides the stress beneath a calm exterior. When a woman acknowledges that effort, when she sees him, understands him, and expresses appreciation, it touches his spirit in ways nothing else can. It makes him feel valued not just for what he does, but for who he is. A man's spirit is nourished when he feels seen. Many mature men experience loneliness, even in relationships, because people focus only on what they can get from him or on superficial aspects of connection. They want someone who notices the small victories, the sacrifices made quietly, the long hours he puts in without recognition. When a woman pauses to say, "I see how hard you're working," or "I know you're doing everything you can," it validates his efforts. It is a silent acknowledgement that he matters and that his struggles are understood. That validation reaches deeper than words. It touches the core of his being, giving him emotional satisfaction that no physical touch alone can provide. Recognition of a man's pressure is equally critical. Mature men often carry unseen burdens, financial obligations, career expectations, social responsibilities, and sometimes emotional baggage from past experiences. These pressures can build silently, leaving him feeling exhausted or stressed. When a woman notices this without judgment or criticism and expresses empathy or gratitude, it eases some of that weight. Even simple statements like, "I appreciate how you handle things under pressure," or "I know you're doing your best," can have a profound impact. It reassures him that his dedication is not invisible and that someone values his resilience and commitment. Responsibility is another area where appreciation matters deeply. A mature man takes responsibility seriously, whether it is for his family, his work, or his commitments. He is aware of the consequences of his decisions and often bears accountability that others may not notice. When a woman acknowledges his responsibility and commends his integrity, it reinforces his sense of purpose. It communicates that his role is meaningful and that his efforts to maintain stability and honor are recognized. This recognition strengthens his self-esteem and creates a sense of emotional intimacy because he feels that his values are mirrored and respected. Appreciation also nurtures emotional security. When a man feels seen, valued, and understood, he becomes more open and willing to share himself. He no longer feels the need to hide behind walls or maintain a facade of invulnerability. This emotional connection allows him to be more vulnerable, more loving, and more present in the relationship. It builds trust and encourages him to invest, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. A man whose spirit is touched by genuine appreciation becomes more generous with his time, attention, and affection because he feels safe and respected. Many women underestimate how much a man needs this kind of acknowledgement. They may focus on appearances, romance, or playful banter, assuming that these things alone are enough to keep him engaged. While those elements can spark attraction, they do not sustain a mature man's commitment. What sustains him is knowing that his daily struggles and achievements are noticed and valued. Appreciation affirms that he is not just doing things for himself, but that his efforts have significance and impact. That understanding fosters deeper emotional attachment and long-term loyalty. It is important to remember that appreciation must be genuine. Empty praise or exaggerated flattery will not touch his spirit. It may even feel insulting. True appreciation comes from observing, understanding, and acknowledging the real effort behind his actions. It is a quiet, sincere recognition that says, I see you, I value you, I understand what you do. When a woman consistently expresses this, it creates a bond that is stronger than physical attraction, more lasting than superficial attention, and more powerful than any words of desire. Peace over drama is one of the most important things a mature man seeks in a relationship. A grown man has experienced enough turbulence in life to understand that constant conflict, chaos, or criticism drains him more than it excites him. He has faced challenges, disappointments, and emotional battles that have taught him the value of calm, stability, and encouragement. While excitement and silence can spark initial attraction, they cannot sustain a man who is emotionally mature. What truly draws him in, what keeps him engaged, is a woman who brings peace rather than unnecessary drama, who uplifts rather than tears down, and who offers understanding instead of judgment. Mature men are not looking for perfection in their partners, but they are deeply sensitive to the emotional environment around them. They notice tension, negativity, and instability, and it affects how they feel about the relationship. Constant drama, arguments over small things, or nitpicking behavior drains his energy and makes him retreat. On the other hand, when a woman approaches situations with calmness, listens with empathy, and responds with thoughtfulness, she creates an atmosphere where he can feel safe, appreciated, and emotionally present. Emotional stability is magnetic to a mature man because it signals that the relationship is a haven, not a battlefield. Encouragement is a key element of this piece. A grown man thrives when he feels supported and believed in. He carries responsibilities in his work, his family, and his personal life that can weigh heavily on him. When a woman offers words of affirmation, encouragement, and trust, she helps him face challenges with confidence. Even a simple statement like, I believe in you, or you're handling this really well, can have a profound impact. Encouragement touches his pride in a way that criticism never will. It fuels his motivation to grow, improve, and remain committed, not out of obligation, but because he feels appreciated and understood. Understanding is equally vital. A mature man values a partner who can see things from his perspective, who does not rush to judgment, and who recognizes that he is human. He knows he is not flawless and does not expect his partner to be either, but he longs for empathy rather than constant correction. When a woman listens patiently, validates his feelings, and tries to understand his point of view, it strengthens the emotional bond. He feels that he can be himself without fear of rejection or ridicule. This kind of understanding fosters intimacy and trust, and it makes him want to invest more in the relationship. Drama, criticism, and chaos, on the other hand, create distance. A mature man has learned that life already comes with enough stress, and he does not need additional emotional turmoil at home. Relationships that are filled with tension, bickering, or constant complaints push him away. He may physically stay, but emotionally he begins to detach, guarding his heart against unnecessary conflict. Peace is not just a preference. It is a requirement for him to feel connected and safe. A woman who can offer calmness and understanding creates a space where he can open up, be vulnerable, and truly engage emotionally. It is important to note that peace does not mean avoiding difficult conversations or ignoring issues. Mature men respect honesty and clarity, but they respond best when discussions are approached with balance, patience, and a desire for resolution rather than blame. A woman who can communicate effectively, express her concerns without anger, and listen to his perspective demonstrates emotional intelligence that draws him closer. He is naturally attracted to someone who can handle conflicts with grace and who prioritizes solutions over drama. Grown men are drawn to relationships that feel like a partnership rather than a battlefield. They appreciate women who bring warmth, empathy, and positivity. They are not impressed by constant emotional roller coasters or manipulative games. Stability and encouragement make him feel secure, valued, and loved. When he senses that a woman's presence brings calm and balance to his life, he becomes more emotionally invested and willing to commit deeply. Ultimately, peace over drama is about creating an environment where a mature man can thrive emotionally. It is about offering encouragement instead of criticism, understanding instead of judgment, and calm instead of chaos. By providing this, a woman connects with him on a deeper level, strengthens the relationship, and fosters loyalty and affection. A mature man seeks a sanctuary in his partner's presence, a place where he can be himself, grow, and love fully. Peace, more than anything else, makes that possible. Belief builds loyalty in a way that few other things can. A mature man carries ambitions, goals, and a vision for his life that often requires patience, perseverance, and sacrifice. These dreams and responsibilities can be heavy, and not everyone around him understands or appreciates the weight of what he carries. What he craves is not just admiration for what he has already achieved, but belief in what he is striving toward. When a woman genuinely believes in his purpose, supports his growth, and encourages him to keep moving forward, she taps into a part of him that no physical attraction or temporary affection can reach. That belief becomes a cornerstone of loyalty, forging a bond that is both deep and lasting. A man's purpose is central to his identity. It is tied to how he measures success, how he evaluates himself, and how he navigates the world. When a woman recognizes this purpose, acknowledges its importance, and shows faith in his vision, she validates his sense of self. This validation matters more than most realize. It tells him that he is seen not just as a provider, a partner, or someone to be admired superficially, but as a man with direction, values, and goals. When a man feels understood in this way, he is naturally drawn closer. He wants to share more of himself, invest more of his time and energy, and protect the woman who truly sees him. Belief in his purpose creates a foundation of emotional connection that goes far beyond temporary attraction. Supporting his growth is equally vital. A mature man is continuously evolving. He seeks to improve, to learn, and to rise to new challenges. But growth is not always easy. It often involves setbacks, criticism, or self-doubt. A woman who stands beside him through these moments, offering encouragement, patience, and constructive support, becomes a pillar in his life. Her support does not have to be extravagant. It can be as simple as listening to his ideas, celebrating his small wins, and expressing confidence in his abilities. Every act of genuine support reinforces his trust and admiration for her, and it strengthens the bond between them. A man who knows that his partner believes in him is far more willing to commit fully because he feels that his heart, mind, and ambitions are safe with her. When a woman believes in his purpose and supports his growth, she unlocks his natural instincts to protect, provide, and love deeply. Loyalty is not something a man gives lightly. It is earned through trust, respect, and emotional alignment. When he sees that his partner is aligned with his values, appreciates his efforts, and believes in his potential, He responds with unwavering loyalty. He becomes protective, not in a controlling way, but in a way that reflects his care and dedication. He invests in the relationship fully because he feels secure knowing that she is invested in him as much as he is in her. This is the essence of true loyalty, mutual respect, shared purpose, and the understanding that each person's growth strengthens the other. Belief also inspires emotional intimacy. When a woman demonstrates faith in him, he opens up about his dreams, fears, and challenges. He allows her to see the parts of himself that are rarely shown to others. This level of vulnerability builds a deep emotional connection, making the relationship resilient to external pressures. A mature man is not looking for someone to simply admire his successes. He wants someone to walk beside him through the journey, through failures and triumphs alike. Her belief acts as a mirror, reflecting his potential back to him and reminding him that he is not alone. That reflection builds loyalty because he recognizes her unwavering support. It is important to note that belief must be genuine. Superficial compliments or empty words cannot replace real understanding and encouragement. A woman must engage with his goals, listen attentively, and show consistent interest in his growth. This authenticity fosters trust and deepens his commitment. When a man knows that his partner's faith in him is sincere, he feels a responsibility to honor that trust. Loyalty flows naturally when he experiences that level of emotional security and alignment. Ultimately, belief builds loyalty because it touches the core of a mature man's heart. He responds not just with affection, but with dedication, protection, and steadfast commitment. He invests in the relationship fully because he feels valued, understood, and supported. A woman who believes in his purpose and encourages his growth becomes more than a partner. She becomes a trusted ally, a safe haven, and a central figure in his life. Loyalty is not demanded. It is inspired, and belief is the spark that ignites it. When a man feels truly believed in, he gives himself wholly, not out of obligation, but out of love, respect, and the deep appreciation for the woman who sees him, supports him, and stands by him through every step of his journey. In every mature man's heart, connection begins long before physical touch. He craves respect, emotional validation, and appreciation for the effort, responsibility, and challenges he carries every day. When a woman acknowledges his hard work, recognizes his struggles, and supports his growth, she touches his spirit in ways that no attraction alone ever could. Peace and stability matter more than drama, and encouragement and understanding fuel his confidence and emotional openness. Belief in his purpose builds loyalty, inspiring him to protect, commit, and invest fully in the relationship. The truth is, a mature man wants to feel seen, valued, and understood before anything else. Women who honor his mind, respect his journey, and stand beside him with genuine support create a bond that goes far beyond attraction. It fosters love, trust, and lasting loyalty. True connection starts with respect, appreciation, and belief.